this drain. What happens at this house is that when it rains really hard, water comes rushing down this driveway, gets into their house and into their living room, and they tried to put in a channel drain right here, but it does not function properly for a few reasons. First of all, this drain itself slopes the opposite way it's supposed to. It should be going this way because this is where the pipes go, but it actually slopes that way just a little bit. First problem. Second problem is that the drain itself is supposed to sit just a little bit below the surface of the concrete, but this one actually sits just a little bit above it in some places. But the biggest and main problem is that the water does not have a good, clear exit path. It should have pipe tied directly into it, but instead it flows into this concrete bowl that's been created, and the pipes that it goes into are too high, and then even when it gets down to the end, it doesn't really have anywhere else to go. There's not enough slope on it. So we're gonna have to cut this out, bust this up, redo the pipe, and find a better exit point for it so they actually have a good functioning drain. It all starts with surveying and measuring the yard so we know what kind of distance and slope we have to work with. Then we use Google Earth to draw an overhead picture of the house to make the design for the customer. We're using a concrete saw, so we brought in a chalk line to mark the line that we needed to cut it on. Once we had that done, we used the saw to cut the old drain out of there. It's important to leave 4 inches on either side of the channel drain so you have enough room to pour the new concrete. Then we use shovels and sledgehammers to remove the old drain and concrete. For this part, we used a mallet and a pick to bust up this old pad that we don't need anymore. Once we had the old drain out of there and all the old concrete removed, we used shovels to smooth out the trench really good for the new one. Then it was time to dig the trench. There's a couple of different methods for putting in channel drain. Since we already had a driveway, we used the suspension method with these wooden stakes and 1/4-inch board. The 1/4-inch board ensures that you have the proper amount of space between the top of the channel drain and the surface of the concrete. It's important to use masking tape to cover up the grate to make sure you don't get any dirt or concrete inside of it. Now comes the concrete. Instead of mixing up a bunch of bags by hand, we rented a pre-filled mixer from AAA U-Rent-It. This made it a whole lot easier. From there, we poured it into our wheelbarrow, where we would shovel it into the trench itself. Make sure you spread it evenly on either side of the drain, otherwise you could make it bulge and move. Make sure you have concrete tools handy to properly spread it, smooth it, and float it when it's ready. Fill the trench back in after the pipe is laid, and smooth it out nicely. Alright, the new and improved, so we had to cut this whole thing out, put a new one in, re-pour the concrete, so now it's got a good slope going down into it, and the whole thing slopes this way. We took up all this concrete right here, it's all gone. We ran pipe under the ground, covered it all up with dirt, and now all the water system's going this way. Now that all the water flows in the right direction, it goes through the underground pipe into this box that we put here to collect this downspout runoff and any extra surface water. Then it runs around the house and comes out this pop-up emitter where it runs into the street. Now that's how a channel drain is supposed to work. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope y'all learned something today. We certainly do every time we do a job like this. So tune in again next time.